I'm not a reader. I was a terrible student. My I had like a 2.1 GPA or something crazy. Cleaning out my parents' house, I found old report cards and things like that, and I knew I wasn't a good student, but I didn't know I was that bad of a student. So, whatever. D's get degrees, so. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday again, and it is my content shoot day. If you've been following along and seen some other videos and heard me talk about, my career, what I do, I'm an entrepreneur. I run multiple different businesses here locally, primarily in real estate, and I have in 2026 set a goal to change my schedule around so that Fridays I don't work, I just shoot content. And so I've been really enjoying this, trying to get content out for you guys. I'm focusing really hard on getting some long form content out there and just sharing my thoughts in hopes that something that I would say would maybe benefit you guys on the other side of the screen when you go through some of the things that I've gone through. So, back in 2018, my mom passed away. It was a whole long, drawn out process that was very difficult for me. In the middle of trying to run businesses at the same time, losing probably the closest person to me at the time was very, very difficult. Fast forward to this year, I lost my dad in October, and having lost both parents at a young age really changes a person. It weighs on you, especially being an only child. And so I wanted to take a lot of the thoughts and the feelings that I feel like, God has allowed me to walk through to maybe help some of you guys. And so right now, still, it's extremely raw. I'm actually currently sitting at my parents' house, and I am working through their estate still, trying to get the house ready to be sold. And this is where I like to come shoot content. I have, some great thoughts, spend time with the Lord, and I think He just pours into me while I'm here, and it's really cool because I have so many great memories here. Um, I love to shoot content here because it's so beautiful. It is a large estate as far as land goes, and I'm just really thankful to have grown up the way that I did. And you guys in some of my videos have seemed to really love the landscapes and things like that with the trucks and stuff, and so I really enjoyed shooting it. And I'll actually throw in some other videos while I'm speaking right now and just show you some B-roll. But it's such a beautiful place, and I'm really going to be sad to see it go. But my wife and I feel that what my parents would have wanted for us is to, sell this, build our dream house, and this was my parents' dream, and so, um, you know, what I'm feeling is that, the memories here, a lot of people don't understand because I've had a lot of people continue to ask me, are you going to move out there? Are you going to move to your parents' house? Because it's a beautiful place. But I just don't think I could do that. Just the memories and all the things that I would think and feel having grown up here and having now lost them both. It's not a place that I want to put my mind and my family, I guess. I just don't think that would be good for me mentally, and so I do feel that my parents would both be very happy with the decision to move everything to someone that would love this place, maintain it while we go and do something on our own and build our dream home as they did, and get to raise Tatum in that and give her the experiences that I had on land like this. So we're currently in the process of that, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys as we move forward. But yeah, I'm sitting out here right now, and it's just a great place to come and shoot content. And um, I guess I will share it with you guys that I had someone comment on one of my videos that I was at a local park shooting content, which I don't understand why people just comment stupid stuff on videos that they don't know anything about. But I shoot everything at my land. That's my parents' dream home that they built, and so I'll show that as proof, I guess, that I do have acreage. for what it's worth, whatever. It's just really funny that people just assume stupid stuff like that. But I'm sitting out here right now and I'm just enjoying it. I'm just taking it in. I just really feel them and feel the Lord when I'm out here on Fridays shooting content for you guys. So it's been a really cool year. 2026 has been fantastic so far. We are making a lot of changes within one of our businesses with our real estate team. I've hired my wife, and we've just made some additions to the team, a lot of different changes, things like that. But the best thing that I've done this year, this is what I want to share with you guys today. I recently started going through the Bible in a year. I've done a lot of different studies and things like that, but I've never actually sat down and read the Bible cover to cover, studied it, studied all the stories, and just really been able to articulate the messages from those. And I really want that knowledge. And so this year has been a year where I am really just trying to invest in knowledge so that way, as the Bible tells us, to have an answer when someone, speaks to you about your faith or asks about your faith and maybe has questions of their own about their faith. And so I really want that knowledge to be able to pour into other people. And so I'm reading the Bible cover to cover, and I'm doing it chronologically. And if you haven't ever sit down or set out to do that, I really, really encourage you to do so. I have gone through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and I'm in Joshua now. And it has been the coolest way to read the Bible that I have ever done. I just really feel like it makes more sense chronologically, so I know what happens when it happened, and it's just really cool to kind of put things together, study the history behind it, and it really helps you just to understand what went on at that time, more of God's heart as humans came into existence, and it's just really been awesome. So I really encourage you guys to do that, just to find a chronological Bible or app that you can read. The Bible app actually has a bunch of them, so I'm just doing 365 chronological study for the year or whatever, but fantastic study. And so I like look forward to reading scripture. My whole life people have preached to me, stay in your word, stay in your word. Every day you got to feed your relationship with God. And I've always known I needed to do that, but I'm not a reader. I was a terrible student. My I had like a 2.1 GPA or something crazy. Cleaning out my parents' house, I found old report cards and things like that, and I knew I wasn't a good student, but I didn't know I was that bad of a student. So, whatever. D's get degrees, so and I'm really thankful to do what I do now, having got such bad grades. But anyway, I'm not a reader. I hate reading, and this I've really looked forward to. I want to know what happens, and so I will say Numbers, Leviticus, Deuteronomy were super dry, really hard to just get through. But Joshua has been fantastic, and so Genesis was fantastic, and just learning all the stories. And so what I wanted to talk about today is Moses and his personality and what I've gained from reading about what he did with his time here on earth. And it's like the coolest thing in the world because I find similarities in these Bible characters that I relate back to my own life, which I think is what we're supposed to do when we read scripture. And so, Moses was this guy that we all know, led the Israelites out of Egypt, and, freed the Israelites from the Pharaoh in Egypt and led them across the Red Sea and did all the things. And, that's what we learned growing up. And that's the simplified version of it. But when you really get down into it and you learn about who Moses was in his heart, I mean, we have so many similarities, and it's like really cool to see that God used these people to do such great things. And when you think about your own life, it's like if he did that with that person who is a lot like me, he can use me to do something great as well. And so, the first instances we see of Moses and the conversations that he had with God are just really, really cool to me because, God speaks to Moses in the burning bush after he had just killed one of the Egyptians for abusing one of the Israelite slaves. And so you see this guy that is said to be the most humble man on earth at the time, which is why I think God used him in the first place. But he kills this Egyptian and he buries his body in the sand so that no one would find out, right? He hides this sin that he, committed. And so he did this thing. He's this humble guy, but he did this thing that he doesn't want anybody to know about. And then God approaches him in the burning bush and speaks to Moses face to face. And Moses, when God asked him to lead these people out of this country, this is a big task. This is not like, hey, go talk to this one guy over here. He's leading a nation out of another nation, and he's going to have to approach the most powerful man in this nation, the Pharaoh at the time, and that's a big undertaking. And so I know how I would feel, and Moses says to God, the creator of the universe, he says, I'm not the guy for this. I can't do this thing that you're asking me to do. I'm not a good speaker, is what he says. And that is me in my heart of hearts. I am not a good speaker. I have people tell me that I am, and they just don't understand my mindset. I'm just such a simple person. I'm not a smart, articulate person by any means. And I feel that when Moses says, I'm not the guy for this because I'm not a good speaker. How can I speak to Pharaoh? And I feel that in my businesses, in my life. I feel that I'm not good enough all the time. I felt that for 12 years that I've been in business, 13 years that I've owned businesses, and it's a constant feeling that never goes away. But God still used Moses, and God can still use me. And so I'm really excited to just take that, what I'm learning in scripture right now, and apply it to my life, because look what God did do with Moses. He led all these people out of a nation. He got these slaves released from Egypt, led them across the Red Sea. When God parted the Red Sea, he had all these people mad at him while they were wandering around the desert. They were complaining the entire time, and they basically were like, Moses, who are you? Why are we to follow you or listen to you? Right? You should have just left us in Egypt where at least we had food to eat. They're complaining the whole time, and Moses just like doing what God's telling him to do consistently. And it's the coolest thing in the world, that he's following God's commands, and how faithful God was in leading them and leading Moses. And it's just awesome. So if you haven't read it in depth, I encourage you to go do that. And it's up until the very last day of his life where, he Moses dies before they cross the Jordan into the promised land in Israel. And, he puts a new person in charge, which is Joshua. So it's just amazing to see, how he, made such an impact with what he felt in his heart was not who he was or what he could do. God pulled him out of his comfort zone and made him, into this person that everyone in existence will know of forever. It's just amazing. So I'm gonna leave you this today. If you're like me and you feel imposter syndrome, like you're not good enough, like you're not worthy enough, like you're not smart enough to do the things that God has called you to do, I'm here to tell you that you are, and you should embrace who God made you, because you were created on purpose for a purpose. And God is bigger than the negative thoughts, like I talked about last week, that we need to shut off so we can allow Him to reveal what He has for us in our lives, and He can use us to do great things. I love you guys. Thank you so much for following along. Like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Thanks so much.